Hey everybody, and welcome back. Now this is kind of an impromptu video, but I thought people would like to see if you haven't seen this already. Now for those who have no idea what I'm talking about the latest Minecraft Snapshot, which has to do a lot with the Wild update for the 1.19 release. Now yes, I am doing a Snapshot review, showing off a few of the blocks and the new mechanics and stuff like that, but mainly looking at the new items and seeing what they could be useful for in the future. So stay tuned, we're going to get into that right after the intro. Alright, so the Wild update actually seems pretty cool, because there's a big emphasis on making the jungle biome a little bit more lively, it seems, and also adding a brand new biome called the Mangrove biome. Now, there's going to be some new mobs, some blocks, all that good stuff, so let's pretty much get straight on into it. Now, among these updates, there is a new mob, and it's a frog. Yes, I definitely said frog, and they are absolutely adorable to look at. When I first started messing around, I threw them in a 1 block high fenced in area and they started like Superman jumping out. So beware, put a roof over the cage if you plan to capture them so they don't escape and go crazy. Now, as you can see here, I have my frogs caged in and you're going to see that I have some light sources on top. These are actually frog lights and there are 3 different colors you can create. And I hope I pronounce these right, but there is ochre, verdant, and pearlescent. And you can get, and you can pretty much acquire these materials needed to make by killing frogs in different biomes. So you have warm, temperate, and cold biomes. So really and truly, if you want all 3 colors, you're going to need to do some traveling, and you will have to mercilessly slaughter some of our hoppy little friends here, but only after you feed them some magma cubes. So not only will you have to travel around, but you will have to feed the frogs molten hot enemies to create frog lights. It may seem a little unorthodox, but I can definitely get behind it. And just as a side note, you can also feed them slimes, which will cause a slime ball to drop. I don't know if that's because they pooped it out or what, but I'm in for the ride. On the flip side, you can see here that there are some tadpoles swimming around. Obviously, these are baby frogs and will grow into their adult counterparts just like any other mob. The fun part is that you can actually catch these guys in a bucket. Otherwise, they'll flop on the ground, they'll die, and we all hate to see that, even though you're about to see that. So, look at that little guy. So anyways, let's get on. That's enough of the mobs. So now we need to get into the new blocks. And to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the Mangrove block, but I am a fan of the new mud bricks. And that's because of a little bit of my history with Conquest Reforged, and mud bricks are just absolutely awesome, and it's a great building tool. So for right now, though, we will focus on the Mangrove blocks. So if you've been paying any attention, the original Mangrove block looked a lot like Junglewood plank. So it was almost useless in that state because it was so similar. I'm glad they changed it to this purple pinkish block, but I'm not sure how you would really utilize it unless you were going for a very specific theme or color palette. Now, the one thing that is really cool is that you don't get saplings from just breaking the leaves like you normally would. With this tree, the bud will grow on the underside of the leaves, as you can see here, and then you can break it off and plant it as a sapling. I thought this was a fantastic addition, and I can't wait to see how people work with this design choice, because honestly, it looks really cool when it's full grown. And somewhat lastly, there is officially mud blocks. Now, the mud blocks don't really do much except for add some atmosphere to the mangrove biome, but you can easily add it to your paths or walkways in the game to really give it that extra touch of detail. I can tell you from my own experience, once again from Conquest Reforged, that mud can really make a build stand out. Not only will mud spawn in the biome, but you can also create it using a water bottle, and you can also create packed mud if you're feeling lucky. Now, packed mud does play a role into the next part, which is my favorite, the mud bricks. Now, these new blocks are crafted by using the aforementioned packed mud, and you can craft them by using a crafting table or a stone cutter. Either way, they look absolutely fantastic. Between the nice color gradient and the classic stone brick design, these will make a lot of builds stand out. You could easily use these in a desert build, a swamp build, or even an abandoned village if you want. I honestly think the mud brick has more versatility than the mangrove, but let me know what you think below, as I could be extremely wrong. Now, there isn't much to talk about anymore, so let's move on to the sculk family, which is also a very interesting block, or really set of blocks. With the sculk blocks, Mojang is thinking about adding sculk catalyst blocks, sculks, sculk vein blocks, and sculk shrieker blocks. All of these blocks can be found in the new deep dark biome, and there are some really cool ideas at play here. For instance, if you kill a mob or a mob dies in range of a catalyst, it will spawn a sculk patch where the mob died, so as you can see here. Now, it's a really cool idea, and it gets even better. As time progresses, the infection will spread to nearby blocks and even have a chance of spawning a sculk sensor on top of said blocks. In tune with this, charges from the sculk blocks and sculk veins will decay over time. This time frame changes depending on how far away or how close they are to a sculk catalyst. So essentially, the farther away, the weaker it is. The closer it is, the stronger it is. So this pretty much goes without saying. I think it's safe to admit that we are all pretty stoked about this new idea. Really and truly, the deep dark keeps getting better. The biomes keep growing in variety and usefulness. And with these new blocks, it's going to be pretty epic to see what people build out of them. So with all that being said, that's a general overview of this snapshot. There's some technical improvements like 3D directional sound and things like that, but really and truly, I'm more interested in the blocks and the biomes. That's obviously the highlights. So I know the video was fairly short and to the point, but I didn't want to dive in too deeply since some changes might be made to this. This is a snapshot after all. So let me know what you think and what you're planning to build with these new blocks as they stand. And also, just a reminder, look at these frogs. They are just like absolutely insane. It's raining frogs. But anyways, that's all I have for today. This is the Legendary Porpoise signing off. I hope all of y'all have a good day and happy gaming.